Teaching number 174. Beloved disciples, every moment that passes in your life is one more step that brings you closer to your Father. Slowly, step by step, you walk the path that leads to the kingdom of light. You are approaching a time when you will know how to give justly what corresponds to your spirit and to the world what belongs to it. A time of true prayer, of worship free from fanaticism, in which you will know how to pray before each undertaking, in which you will know how to watch over what has been entrusted to you. How can man err, when instead of carrying out his own will, he first asks for that of his Father through prayer? Whoever knows how to pray lives in contact with God, knows the value of the benefits that he receives from his Father and at the same time understands the meaning or purpose of the trials he is going through. The man who prays directly before God is a spiritualized man, who does not wear a blindfold and who is prepared to discover inside and outside of himself, unknown worlds of wisdom and truth that exist in the life of humanity without previously being aware of it. Whoever manages to discover that path can no longer stop, because having awakened their senses and their spiritual gifts becoming sensitized, today they hear voices of nature, tomorrow they perceive messages from the spiritual kingdom, later they will hear the voice of their Lord in a spirit-to-spirit communication, the fruit of love between the Father and his children. People, do not envy these spokesmen through whom I communicate, because if you really prepare yourselves in matter and in spirit, you will surpass them after this communication has passed. A time of wonders, tests and prodigies is reserved for this people as witness of my communication in this third era. I have not yet said my last word in which I will make great revelations to you, but my will and my mandates are written in the conscience of all this people, so that they have full knowledge of what the end of my manifestation will be like, as well as the day chosen and marked for my last lesson. It is necessary for you to understand that I have come to teach you everything you need to know in order to penetrate the realms or mansions that await you, because just as your spirit had to be prepared in the valley in which it most recently lived in order to incarnate and to inhabit the earth, thus it will have to prepare itself to return to the valley that it left, although to places of higher levels of love, of purity and wisdom. Do not doubt my word, I fulfilled my promise to you in the first era by freeing Israel from the slavery of Egypt, which meant idolatry and darkness, to take you to Canaan, land of freedom and worship of the living God. There my advent as a man was announced to you and the prophecy was fulfilled word by word in Jesus, the Master who lived and loved you, and promised to manifest himself in spirit, and here you have the fulfillment of that promise. Today I announce that I have reserved for your spirit wonderful regions, dwellings, spiritual mansions where you can find true freedom to love, to extend good and make light. Will you doubt this, after I have kept all my previous promises to you? Know that the great spirits labor in my work eternally. Elijah, destined to announce the arrival of the Master among his disciples, is the light that opens a gap for the spirits, descending towards the lost along the way, towards those who sleep or have died to faith in the spiritual life, to wrap himself in the fire of love that emanates from him, fire that is faith, extermination of evil and purification. His voice calls in every nation, his purifying fire advances. Certainly purification leaves behind a trail of pain, but soon a divine consolation arrives, represented in Mary, to pour its balm into every sobbing heart, into every being tormented by pain. Then I will come to visit heart by heart to make my divine call heard to men, telling them only, follow me. My doctrine develops man in all his phases, it sensitizes and ennobles the heart, awakens the mind and perfects and elevates the spirit. Make a deep study of my doctrine that allows you to understand the right way to practice my teachings, so that your development is harmonious, that is, that you not only give development to the mind, but you must cultivate feelings of and encourage the ideals of the spirit. All the powers of your being can find in my word the luminous path through which you will be able to evolve and perfect yourself into infinity. I have given you enough time to assimilate and understand my teachings, so much so that many of you who came as children are now young, as well as others who came young are now old. Some have been born on this path and are already part of the number of my servants, and others have breathed their last breath taking their place among my chosen ones. I have granted enough time to this people, so that the light of a firm and true faith is revived in them and so that their spirit has a deep knowledge of my work. My word prepares you for when you stop listening to this voice and you have to concentrate in the depths of your being, so you can feel my presence and receive my inspiration. My lesson is being written on your consciousness. There is the ark that best keeps my law, so that when times pass and these hours of spiritual recreation that you have with your master are distant, the essence of my word vibrates full of life in your spirit, fresh, throbbing with love and wisdom. In my word you will find that at every step I tell you to reach spirituality because it will be what should distinguish you on earth. Without spirituality you will not be able to deliver the testimony to your brothers that you must give. Do not fear that I will cause my word to cease among you, my work will not decay, nor will your spirit faint. I have arranged in the spiritual valley the beings that must come to incarnate to be guides and prophets of the peoples, beings of light, spiritualists who will teach you to take a step forward on the path opened by my word. Today I want to tell you that just as here you need beings of light to come from the spiritual valley to help you on the journey, there are also spiritual mansions that are needing some of you to reach them with the light of my teaching. You do not know which of those who are listening to me at this moment will soon have to leave in pursuit of a spiritual mission. That is the reason why many hearts have been purifying for a long time and why, with each passing day, they feel their spirit more within my work. I want some of you to be among my spiritual hosts, to unite them with those who work with me in this blessed work of restitution and justice for the salvation of all beings who walk outside the path of life and truth. Keep in your conscience this word that can serve as a preparation for you in the supreme moment of abandoning this existence to free yourself spiritually. This is a beautiful time of revelations, O beloved people. An era of light that lifts the spirits. Blessed are those who prepare, because they fully receive my light. But, think that these are just the beginnings of an era, that I have not revealed to you everything that this time reserves for men, nor has everything that you have received been understood by you. Days, years and centuries will pass in which this humanity will witness wonderful lights and spiritual revelations never known. Those times are drawing near, so you must prepare the way for those who will come to take your place, you must bless the path with your good works, then you have started the construction of the true temple, which others will come to continue and later others will come to finish. I have given you my teaching for a long time so that it, like a good seed, takes deep root in your heart and you live with the testimony ready to overflow among your brothers. Form my word into a book. Extract the essence from it, so that you may attain a true understanding of the purity of my doctrine. In the word transmitted by the spokesman, you can find errors, but not in the essence. My interpreters have not always been prepared, that is why I have told you not to look at it superficially, but to penetrate into its meaning, so that you can find its perfection. Pray and meditate, so that you can understand it. You all need faith to live. Woe to him who only lives for the vanities of the world because his spirit will be empty and at the end of his earthly journey, he will not be able to present any harvest. Think that you have been sent to earth to carry out a spiritual mission, that later you will return to me, meanwhile, the matter will merge with the earth from which it has sprung. To achieve a great faith, be inspired by my love, make your heart a temple. Close the eyes of the body and open those of the spirit, so that you can see beyond your world. I am outside and inside you, in the most intimate of your being, overseeing and watching over your spirit. I know all your desires and hopes and I tell you, climb the mountain of improvement full of patience and sacrifice. When you are near the end, I will open the doors of my kingdom, so that you sense my peace and be strong in the last hour. Everything evolves. Man advances in his science, but he does not take advantage of this knowledge that he has acquired in doing good, he does not know how to comfort or protect his fellow men. Ambitions and misunderstanding of free will have caused a new war and its consequence is pain. I contemplate orphanhood, misery, desolation and death everywhere, and you will answer me for all of this. What have you done with my word? You have ignored it and you are lost in a sea of pain and confusion, and even so, it will not be the last war you will wage, but judgment is drawing near for all. Judges and prisoners, executioners and victims are in my presence. All nations will hear my voice. I invite you to pray in this supreme hour and I give you the light of my spirit. My creation is constant and nothing dies. If pain consumes the flesh and the spirit remains naked without having fulfilled its mission on earth, I will give it a new corporeal clothing and I will have it return. I invite you to do spiritual works that endure through time. Build on solid ground, so that there is no element that destroys what you have done. You are in front of my table, sit around me and listen to me. It is my will that at this time, every man and every spirit reach this divine knowledge that the Holy Spirit has been revealing to you. My word at this time as a book of wisdom has been opened before men. You, whom I have named my disciples, I make jealous guardians of this teaching. You are the humble family of Jesus, entrusted with an inheritance. Understand that I, the Master, have come to manifest my will upon you. None of those who inhabit the earth knows the heavenly dwelling. You are still pilgrims in the desert of life, some wander without knowing where they are going, but from eternity the love of your Father is waiting for you. That is why I come down to help you in your arduous journey, so that you may reach my bosom from which you departed. Rather I want to unify you in love, so that the merits you make, striving to be closer, forgiving each other and embracing with brotherhood, brings you closer to me. I have prepared the way for you to find the peace of my kingdom, that peace that you do not find in this life, because in it you have only known pain. Why didn't you follow the path that I traced for you in the second era? You would not have tripped or fallen. Now you are my disciples, because I love you and I want to give you a new opportunity to save you. Are you going to take advantage of it, or will you stagnate again? See that what I have revealed to you with such simplicity and humility is something that belongs to the Arcanum of the Father that has been hidden even from the wise and theologians. However, knowing that you possess this grace, do not go to imitate the men of science who, due to their discoveries, have fallen into vanity and blindness, to the point of not knowing who has done everything. Today you possess what others have ignored or despised, but when you get up to spread my teachings, do not stop to judge whether the one to whom you are speaking is worthy or not to receive my lessons, even when they are the ones who have most ignored me. You, who by listening to me show your spirit overflowing with joy, are the ones who will make my work known. The hour of my departure draws near, and you must be ready. In the second era I chose 12 men, who after my departure, spread the good news throughout the world. 12 men were enough to carry out that work. In this time I have instructed thousands of men and women. I have sent my spiritual hosts to your aid, because you are in the time of liberation of the spirits. If my soldiers are many, it is because now humanity is greater and its sins and darkness greater as well. Be humble and content with your destiny. Sometimes you formulate in your heart this question: have I made progress spiritually or am I stationary? And I, the Master, tell my disciples that if they have come to feel the pain of their brothers, they have taken a step forward, that if they have known how to forgive those who have seriously offended them, they have taken another step, and that if your heart has come to identify with all men without distinction of race or class, you have advanced quite a bit on the path of spiritual evolution. And what has been the motive for those feelings and acts? The love that my law has known how to inspire in you. Only love can teach you my doctrine, because all virtues derive from it. It is in vain for men to try to find the solution to their problems by other means. They will uselessly want to establish peace in the world, if it is not founded on love for one another. However, I see that my doctrine is still seen with indifference, and sometimes even with mockery by those who only see life through the feelings that a materialized and selfish heart inspires in them. More I tell you that even they will be convinced that only high morality, clear knowledge and just reason will be able to save humanity from the abyss into which it has fallen. And that high morality can only be given by the spirituality that I have been teaching you, that cleanliness of your works before the light of conscience and that justice in reasoning. You will find them only in my word, because I have not been talking about the impossible, nor have I come to show you only fantasies. My doctrine is based on reality, on truth. Impossible are those achievements that man has tried through means that are not advised by my law of love and justice, and if I have allowed him to act freely, it is so that he can experience it for himself, even though he has always had my law present in his conscience. If the hearts of men had not hardened so much, the pain of war would have been enough to make him reflect on his mistakes and he would have returned to the path of light, but he still has the bitter memory of those human massacres and is already preparing for a new war. How can you conceive that I, the Father, divine love is capable of punishing you with wars? Do you think that he who loves you with a perfect love and wants you to love one another, can inspire you to crime, fratricide, death, revenge and destruction? Do you not understand that all this is due to the materialism that humanity has accumulated in its heart? Men have strayed from the path marked by their conscience, they have lost their reason, they have strayed from the path of morality and good feelings. They have not wanted to stop in time, they have not meditated, and they go to the bottom of the abyss they have dug, to meet the darkness. However, my love has forgiven you for your faults, and my light has tried to stop you, showing you that you are going the wrong way, but my law respects the free will with which I have endowed you, although my justice will allow you to reap the fruit of what you are sowing in your life. And when it seems that everything has ended for man, and that death is the one that has won, or that evil is the one that has triumphed, beings will emerge from the darkness into the light, from death they will resurrect to true life, and from the abyss of evil they will rise to practice the eternal law of God. Not everyone will know the abyss, because just as some have tried to remain isolated from that war of passions, of ambitions, of hatred, and have lived on the outskirts of the new Sodom, others who, if they had sinned a lot, will know how to stop in time, and with your timely repentance and complete regeneration, you will avoid many tears and much pain. Those of you who are listening to me, do not feed or contribute in any way to these wars, persevere on my path so that your life and your words, as well as your deeds, serve so that many hearts stop in time in their dizzying pursuits, so that you may experience my peace and free yourself from having to drink that chalice of bitterness. Take advantage of this day that you dedicate to your Creator. Your heart prepares and beats with love towards my divinity, and you are filled with my grace because you make yourselves worthy of receiving my presence. Let the joy of your spirit be reflected in your matter, which will therefore be a healthy joy. How could your spirit be happy and your heart sad at the same time if both live in harmony? That state is beautiful when it comes from the enjoyment of the Spirit. Seek the perfection of your works, because in perfection is the supreme joy. What imperfection do you find in creation? None, you tell me. However, imperfections abound, and those are found in the works of men. Do my will, because everything that is done outside the law is imperfect. Understand, do not give free rein to your imagination, do not judge the works of your brothers. I want you to be good, I want you to become perfect, because you, apparently insignificant, are greater than the matter and even worlds, because you have eternal life, you are a spark of my light. You are spirits. You need to recognize what spirit is so that you can understand why I call you to the path of perfection. In your pain, I have come to look for you to save you. It is the love of your Father who has not yet tired of knocking on the door of your heart. Since 1866, through men inspired by me, I have come to communicate with you to show you the path of good and justice. The Master tells you, it is my will to testify that this is the third era. In the first era, Abraham made a pact with the Father. In the second era, Christ sealed with his blood the pact he made with men, because with his blood, which means love, life, sacrifice and forgiveness, he showed the world the way to redeem their sins, giving salvation and life eternally to the Spirit. At this time I come to overflow my light in the Spirit, because if you want to reach me as a man, you will never achieve it, because the mansion promised in eternity is for the Spirit. I recommend my teaching so that in the same way that I give it to you, you may transmit it to your brothers, but never argue violently when teaching it. Beware of censoring what you do not know, but understand that a clean example will be enough to convert men to spirituality. In my mandate, in which I tell you, love one another, my teaching is condensed. Why, if when I created you I gave you all the same degree of understanding, has not everyone understood me? Why is it that while some know how to give to God what is His and to the world what belongs to it, others give everything to the world, of which they come to make their God, their paradise and their glory? Because they have forgotten that I told you in the second era, my kingdom is not of this world. My peace be with you.